Good evening, everyone. Hope you're able to join. Let me know if you've jumped on. Tonight I'll be talking to you about lessons that I learned from Andy Griffith. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Scotty Sanders. I'm an international leadership consultant. It's what I love to get to do. See, my purpose in life is to encourage and to empower others to live, lead, and to finish well. So that's what I get to do. Part of doing Facebook Live is for me to do that very thing, to help others to lead well. Because I believe when you lead yourself well, it gives you an opportunity to lead others well. So again, my name is Scotty Sanders. I love developing leaders. The purpose of this Facebook Live is to do just that. So thank you for joining me. If you've joined, let me know that you've jumped on. Tonight I'll be talking to you about lessons that I've learned from Andy Griffith. Now I realize that there's potential that it dates me, but I want you to know my kids are big fans of Andy Griffith, so they're a lot younger than me, so it can be young and old. But if you're not familiar with Andy Griffith, that show came out, sitcom, back in the early 1960s, and it's just a great show. Lots of life lessons, lots of moral, takeaways that you can have. So things that I just some of my earliest childhood memories was about watching Andy Griffith. And listen, I'm still somewhat a fanatic about it. On Netflix, so I can watch any episode anytime I choose to, and typically in a given week I'll watch, usually late at night by myself. Cindy sometimes will say, "You got to keep it down." I'll wake her up from laughing, and I can almost repeat every line that Andy and Barney says. So I am somewhat of a fanatic about it, but I just love it. It's just clean, it's good humor, and I love Barney. Now, the episodes or the seasons went on beyond 5, but I call the 5 years of Barney my favorite. And I typically don't watch the ones after Barney. He's my favorite character, but I learned a lot of life lessons and leadership lessons from Andy Griffith. So I want to talk to you about 7 lessons that I learned from this legend, Andy Griffith. Now, if you've never watched this show, go check it out. It's great. If you've got kids, they'll love it as well. All right, so give it a try. Again, lessons that I learned from Andy Griffith. So here's the first one. Andy never let rules get in the way of helping people. And that's a lesson for us to learn too. Listen, we need to follow the rules. We need to obey the rules. And there's policies at our company or in our home, but you never should let rules get in the way of helping people. So I saw Andy many times, adjust the rules or the policies that would potentially have an impact negative on people. He would adjust that it would help people. So rules and policies really should serve people well. If not, we might need to think about doing something different. Now, conversely, Barney was kind of the opposite of that, his sidekick, right? Barney wanted to follow all the rules by the book. And in fact, in one of the episodes, I remember Barney saying, "Andy's been trying to teach me for years not to think so much from here and act from here, but to think from my heart." Again, a lesson I've learned. Don't let the rules get in the way of helping people. So here's the second one. Andy gave credit to others when things went well. I mean, almost every episode, something would happen that Barney would mess up. Andy would come to the rescue, and what would he do? He would give Barney credit for what happened good. That's good leadership. That's what leaders do. The leader doesn't get credit, the leader gives credit. However, the leader has to take the blame when things don't go well, and Andy would do that. But he was a great leader over Barney. He protected Barney. He gave Barney credit when Barney didn't have anything to do with his success many times. And again, that may be, he maybe flex the truth a little bit on that. Let's not get into that. But the main thing there, he would give his team members credit for success. He wouldn't take credit himself. So here's the third one. Andy was respectful of everyone. I can never remember, and I've watched, and when I go back to the episodes I've watched, again, I can repeat the sentences, or I can finish the sentences of Andy and Barney. I would say no less than I've watched at least 50 episodes of each season. So I'm not saying 50 total episodes, 50 times whatever 5 seasons, which is probably close to 30 episodes a season. So probably, well over, I don't know, gosh, is that 1,500? That sounds like a lot, but I may have watched that many, all right? So the third one again, Andy was respectful to everyone, but in none of the episodes I ever watched did I ever see Andy be disrespectful to anybody. It didn't matter if it was the town drunk Otis, if it was the nut Ernest Bass, or the hillbilly darlings that would come in every so often. He treated everyone with respect. I think that's a lesson we can all learn. Treat everyone with respect. That's the third one. Here's the fourth one. Andy would quickly admit mistakes when he made them, and he would say he's sorry. He wasn't above, admitting that he blew it or he messed up. He would quickly admit that he made a mistake. I remember on several episodes that he would apologize to his son and admit that he made a mistake. Sometimes with our kids or our grandkids or people that we're close to, we have a harder time admitting when we make a mistake. But Andy was always quick to admit when he made a mistake, and he would say that he was sorry. We may need to practice that, saying we're sorry. It's okay. None of us are perfect. Be quick to admit when you made a mistake and say you're sorry, even to your children. All right, here's another one. That's number 4. That's number 4. Here's number 5. Number 5 is that Andy would let others fail. Even when he somewhat knew that they would fail, he would let them fail because he knew that that was a way that they could learn and they could grow, but he still had their back. I think about times where he let Barney be sheriff for the day, or when he'd have to go out of town on some type of business, he would let Barney, he knew that it was going to be tough for Barney, but he would let him stretch himself. He would learn and he would grow from that. So Andy would let people around him fail, not to be mean to them, but he knew it was an opportunity for them to learn and grow. Now I want you to think about this for a second. Do you ever let your kids fail? We don't want them to fail, but sometimes we need them to fail, and we don't need to bail them out. They need to learn what it's like to fail. They need to learn so they don't make that same failure when the stakes get higher. What about people that you work with? Maybe if you're a supervisor, do you ever let people on your team fail and tell them that they've got permission to fail? Because listen, you can go through life and never fail. But the problem with that, you never attempt anything. So failure is just part of life. It's part of the journey. The thing you want to see happen, what did you learn? Can you grow from that? And don't repeat the same failure over and over. That's number 5. So number 6, so I've got 7 of these lessons I'm going to share with you. So number 6 is Andy took time with people. It didn't matter who it was. He took time with Floyd. He took time with Gomer, and then Goober later on and on. Aunt B, his son, and certainly a lot of time with Barney. But that speaks to me. Sometimes we're so busy with life, we don't take time to develop relationships, to spend time with people, encouraging people, having fun with people. We need to be able to do that, enjoy life. Andy took time with people. It didn't matter who it was. He would take time with them. And here's number 7, last one. Andy enjoyed life. That's one thing. You watch the episodes, rarely would you find Andy in a bad mood. Now, every once in a while, he'd say, I need a break. But he tended to have a very good work-life balance. It's almost like his work and life blended together in a good way. It wasn't in a bad way that he dreaded to go to work. He seemed to really enjoy work, and enjoy the people that he worked with. So he had good work-life balance. And he didn't take himself too seriously. Now, I have to tell myself that sometimes because I'm a pretty intense person. To lighten up, to use a little humor, don't take myself too seriously. Maybe you need to hear that as well. Andy didn't. He wouldn't mind making fun of himself. Also, he had good relationships. Everybody liked Andy. I remember in one episode when Barney was not under investigation, but he was at a hearing that Andy was being, kind of some trumped up charges, and Barney was testifying on Andy's behalf. And I remember Barney saying, it's one of my favorite episodes, and I remember Barney saying to the judge and the prosecutor, said, listen, the people in Mayberry, that's the city, the people in Mayberry do not have a better friend than Andy. Wouldn't that be great to be said about you? I don't have a better friend than you. You don't have a better friend than Scotty. What a compliment that can be paid about you. Andy had good relationships. Everybody respected Andy. Andy was a friend to everyone. So those are the 7 lessons that I learned. I hope these lessons helped you. If any of these speak to you, I wish you would please hit the share button and pass this on to some other people, okay? Now, here's one little quick thing I want you to do. So out of all the episodes of Andy Griffith that I've watched, and there's several that I just absolutely love, but probably my favorite is one, and I don't know, I can't even remember the title of it, but there was a character in this episode that the only time he'd ever been on an episode, and it was Mr. McBeevy. And Andy, or Opie, got to know Mr. McBeevy, and because he worked in the trees, he was a telephone person. He worked in the trees to lay telephone line. That Andy thought that Opie was making up this character, and he didn't believe Opie. But I just remember that episode. But at the end of the day, Andy said, "I don't understand this, but I trust and I believe my son." So if you've not ever checked out that episode, check out the Mr. McBeevy episode. I don't remember what season it's in. You have to go through all 5 seasons to check out the Mr. McBeevy. So let me ask you, if you're an Andy Griffith fan, which one is your favorite episode? I'd love for you to post that others can see that as well. I like to scroll down later on, even if you watch this beyond tonight, list your favorite episode of Andy Griffith. I'm going to go with Mr. McBeevy as my favorite. So again, 7 lessons that I learned from Andy Griffith. I call him the legend, Andy Griffith. All right. Now listen, I hope you have a great rest of the week, and I'll be leading well till next time we get together. Take care.